All right. Okay, I'm back. I clicked wait, it's coming. It says live video is starting, so I'm just gonna wait. Okay, here I am again. Take two this time. Um all right. How to come back a second time here. I clicked something the first time and the video went away. So I came back. Anyways, this is Natalie. Welcome. If you're joining me live, pop a comment in there. But this is a very impromptu, short, well, maybe, I don't know, short video about the SoulStar chakra, the stellar gateway, our higher self, our soul, and our aspects. So very, very simple, nothing formal. This is nothing formal, although I've been talking to my guides about doing a video or a class, like a more formal class, um, on the chakras and trauma and cellular trauma and different things. So we'll see how this goes. But for right now, I've got like a cute little diagram here, set up that I'm going to go through and kind of do a little impromptu teaching. I was just chatting with my guides about stuff and I'm like, ooh, that's some fun, cool information. And, um, and I've been really terrible about getting really cool information that I learned and not getting online and sharing it. So I'm kind of making a promise to myself and to everybody in my groups. I've got 3 different groups. So this is my general big group, for kind of ascension topics, starseed topics, ascended master, archangelic, anything to do about source, angels, galactics, energy frequency healing, holistic healing, energy work, anything to do with ascension and awakening and how it relates to our body, healing, physical health, mental health, emotional health, aspects, higher self, all that kind of stuff, all kinds of cool topics. So that's what this group is about. It's kind of just a bit of everything. And my name's Natalie, so I'm the founder of the group. And so if you're here, drop a comment and welcome. And I'm happy that you're here. Sorry about my voice. Got a little laryngitis. I'm not sick, just a little laryngitis. So, anyway, so I've been trying to do vocal rest, but it doesn't work so good when you have ideas. So I'm coming on just to share some cool ideas just about when I was talking with my guides about the higher self, because I've been working intensely with my own higher self and embodiment. Um, Learning about chakras, the crown chakra, our soul, our aspects, what's the difference between everything. So it's, again, this is nothing formal. It's like really, ooh, this is kind of cool, because we got talking about like where everything is and kind of how it all fits together. So it's kind of cool information. So I'm going to get started. And Mary Magdalene is one of my higher self aspects that comes through, and she's coming through really strong right now. And I really feel her. So she's a big part of me and my path and the team that I work on. Um, and that. So, and right now I feel almost, it's funny because my inner child is actually the one that is coming through to speak, because she's just like, oh, this is kind of fun, right? My inner child is the one that's like wanting to come out and play. But at the same time, I feel my aspects and my higher self is just like, it's this team, it's this tandem. So it's kind of like, I've been navigating this path of like, who are we and what makes us who we are, and how do we come to earth, and how do we know who we are, and how do we trust it, and how do we feel it, and how does it tie into awakening, right? Like, what the heck is awakening? What is it? And awakening is so many things, right? But it's really about awakening to your own true self. And what the heck does that even mean? Like, what is your own true self? What is it, right? And so your own true self is who you are in a divine level, who you are in a soul level, right? And we're that person our whole life, yet not always in tune, because we have this thing called ego, and we get tied up with beliefs or fears or things throughout life. So we get kind of tangled up in things. So we beliefs and programming and fears and our ego and society and other things that lower, our frequency, or things that get in the way, like just life, not being able to connect, not having a moment to yourself of peace and quiet to like just meditate and like, God, who am I? Right. Um, and you guys are here in this group for a reason because you're going through the awakening. You're on a spiritual path, and we're all at different levels, and I don't know what level everybody's at, so I'm gonna kind of just throw stuff out there and take what resonates, but I am going to get into a little bit more complicated stuff. Nicole and Albion, hello, blessings. Albion, thank you. Nicole Marie, mine too. And welcome. You're to, oh, that Magdalene's an aspect of yours, maybe? Is that what you mean? I'm not sure. Um, Mary Magdalene, that's a whole nother topic. I don't think she wants me to talk about that right now. She's just like, nope, it's not about that. We're like, moving on. She says she's pushing it away. I said, okay, move on. So, anyway, but yeah, what is awakening? Why did I call this group Awaken Your Body and Soul? And it's like, because we come to earth as a human, as a body in this physical vessel, right? Our avatars, who are we, right? We have this physical self. But yet we're a soul, we're divine, all in the same breath. We're both things. And I listened to this book, audiobook called Journey of Souls by Dr. Michael Newton, maybe 2 years ago. Probably one of the most profound reads I've ever, read. It was an audiobook, so I can't show it to you. But it was one of the most profound reads I've ever had. Listen to books, and in it I learned a lot of really cool things, and so I'm going to talk about a few cool things I learned from that about, again, our soul, and like who we are and the awakening, and then the higher self and the SoulStar chakra. So I'm going to start with the soul. So what I learned in that book was something so profound, it just blew my mind. And it was so Dr. Michael Newton, he is a past life regressionist and hypnotist, very much like, works the same way, minus all the spaceship starseedy stuff that Dolores Cannon, but he works very much like Dolores Cannon. And I adore her books. I'm listening to, and I'm almost finished it, The 3 Waves of Volunteers right now. And that's another book I want to share with you guys. It's so cool. But the 3 Waves of Volunteers is an amazing book. But anyway, in the Journey of Souls book, he's doing the same thing that Dolores Cannon does. And if you're familiar with what she does, she's counseling and coaching people and doing past life regressions and essentially getting to the point where she's talking to the soul or the higher self or the subconscious directly, right? And so in all Dr. Michael Newton's research, and every time he had a client, he, it's gathering information client by client, and was talking about the death process, what it's like on the other side, up in the higher realms or in heaven, and the remarkable beauty that's described, and then everything that happens up there and all the learning, and then the coming back into the body. So that's where I'm going to start. And I could probably do another live about the other stuff because it's all cool topics. But what he explained, or what these souls explained through channeling, was that the soul comes into the body somewhere between the 4th month gestation in the womb and full term. And it depends on the soul itself and how advanced they are. The more advanced the soul is, the more adept the soul is and skillful the soul is at going into the fetus and integrating its energy into the nervous system, hormonal system, and the structure of the child. So basically, we are a physical vessel, okay, without a soul. That's when we are first created, through procreation. We are just the biological self, right? And we have the energy and the essence of the mother. So there's the soul essence of the mother that gives us that life, right? The soul essence of the mother, her chakras and her energy sort of blend in with the fetus during formation. Once the nervous system is formed enough, then the soul enters in through the womb and begins its integration. So the fetus, the human, has its own identity and ego, and the soul comes in. Souls are, and this was something they also taught in this book, Souls also are given an identity, which is ego. Okay. We think that the soul is egoless. It's not at all. The soul has an ego. Okay. So the soul has an ego, the human has an ego. And it's basically, in a sense, we're like two selves. The human is like a host to the soul, and the soul comes in and blends in. And we're integrated. And the better the integration is, the better life, or the smoother, maybe not better life, but the better your life could be, or maybe will be, because they're, and I don't need it and it's like, oh, your life's going to be perfect. It just means that you're going to be more integrated and whole, and sort of working in unison, and not even aware that there's this other self, in a sense. You're just going to be this whole self, right? um Sometimes if there's like a big difference between the personality or the energy of the human and of the soul, and if there could be a lot of conflict, and it might show up in somebody as, one day you're this personality and one day you're that personality. One day you're like, oh, I'm feeling like really strong and in myself, and I feel myself, I feel divine, I feel embodied spirit, I feel the lightness. Things are flowing and they make sense, and even when they're tough, you're like, I can handle it, I've got the courage, I've got the resources. You just have this knowing. And when you're resistant to that soul, or in too much of your ego, or in fear or distrust, then there can be that heave, and the rejection of self, in a sense, like a self rejection. And then that leads to a lot of dissatisfaction and a lot of confusion and a lot of, up and down, up and down. And it's like the soul catches you and says, okay, let's go this way, and then the human wants to go this way, and the soul says go this way. So it can create a lot of problems and conflict. So that's kind of a quick down and dirty between soul and, who we are on a human level. Hey Jody, welcome, so good to see you. um so yeah, so that's, I've it's a book that I hugely recommend, you guys. It's called Journey of Souls by Dr. Michael Newton. And then he's got Destiny of Souls and Life Between Lives are the two sequels that go to that book. So Journey of Souls by Dr. Michael Newton, incredible read. Very simple read, because it's basically just a collection of interviews with clients and the souls that he's basically channels through. And I learned so much. Okay, so that's when the soul comes in. It comes in, and it integrates during gestation into the nervous system, the mind, the brain, the endocrine system, hormones, um, and that's pretty much it, the two systems that it integrates with. Because the soul comes in and it can actually drive you and your body, in a sense, physically, and tweak and adjust your hormones, or it has to integrate into your nervous system and your mind, whatever your mind is. I don't know if anybody can define the mind, but it integrates. Okay, so it integrates into you. All right. And then you develop, your chakras are basically developed. Chakras are their own essence and consciousness. Interestingly, I do automatic writing as one of my forms of channeling, and I love having conversations with my heart or different chakras, because I'll be like, well, what do you need, or what do you feel? And it's different parts of you, like, and I know on my journey I've been learning like all the different parts of me, and I, honest to God, have felt like it's exhausting, because I have really honestly felt like I'm this vehicle that's been taken apart, and you're a mechanic student, or a medical analogy. Maybe, when my ex-husband was going to medical school, you went to a cadaver lab, and it's kind of gross, I know, but, and we didn't, when I was at nursing school too, we studied cadavers, and to know the intricate parts of what makes up a human body or a vehicle. So I felt like over the past few years, especially a few months, that I've been taken apart and kind of almost hyper examined all the parts of who I am. And now it's like, okay, now it's all coming back together, and now I feel put back together, and I finally feel in this good space to be here and sharing with you guys. So that's kind of where I'm at on my journey. But and I just feel like I've been through so much. I want to share this wisdom. So yeah, there's a lot of parts to us. What I'm going to touch on today, so it's not too long, is just higher self, the soul and SoulStar chakra. So the soul, as I said, comes in and it enters in just, I'll even stand up a little bit. The soul enters right in here. So kind of right where the SoulStar chakra is, and it goes up behind the heart. And I know this because I've had some experiences where I had temporarily had a soul, I felt my soul leave and I felt another soul come in and step in for about 3-4 days during a period of trauma. So I actually felt myself completely die, and I actually could see and feel my soul go. And it was like, for a moment, I felt complete death and I wasn't breathing, nothing, but I had awareness. And then another energy came in and I took this deep breath, and it was a bizarre feeling. But I know for a fact this is exactly where the soul comes in, and then it goes in behind, in behind your heart. And that's where your soul sits. And there's actually photography. There's been some videos of people like in nursing homes and stuff, and or of people like at home. And I just saw one last week of just, a camera that was on and catching the death, and it somehow captured, you could see this faint cloud or light that just went whoop, and just left the body when the person died, and it came right out where the so it comes out from behind the heart and comes out right below. So that's where the soul goes in and sits, but it integrates into all of our chakras and all of our energy system. Okay. Now, when we come and incarnate, we come in as our soul, but we're a bit of a recipe. It's a bit of a science to this in an energetic sense. We come in, and it depends on your purpose and your role and what your goals are. It depends if you're here for, mission, if you're here for specific, what your reason is. Rob Hood, same. I guess I didn't catch her what the same was, but yeah, maybe like a walk-in experience you've had, or a soul exchange. Yeah, that's a scary experience. Very scary, very dangerous. But when we come in and incarnate, and again, this is in the book Journey of Souls, we have a meeting with our guides. We go over what our goals are, what do we need to learn. And that's kind of for majority of souls, right? There's like, okay, what's your purpose? What do you want to do? Where do you want to go? What karma do you have to clear? What lessons, and that's for majority of people. When it comes to more advanced souls, it's like, okay, you're going for a mission. You're a master soul, and a lot of us here are anywhere from intermediate to more higher level souls. So we come in with a purpose, with a mission. So the higher up we go, the more, oh, I got chills. The higher up we go, the more gifts might be given to our soul for a purpose. So if we have a soul contract that is, oh, I got these things, that are personal, and these things that are mission, or I've got all this huge list, I know for me, I've got this giant list of mission-based stuff. So when I incarnated, I was blessed with gifts from other aspects of, hey, I'm going to give you this gift. And it's kind of like, imagine you're going on a trip and you've got your bag packed, and you got your besties around you and all your resources, like, hey, sister, your family gives you a going away party. I'm going to give this to you, and I'm going to give this to you, and I'm going to give this to you. So that's kind of what soul aspects are. They're like an added ingredient. I like the analogy of soup. It's like this added ingredient to soup, to, like the carrots to the broth, like the pot. Imagine the pot being the body, the broth being our soul, and say the vegetables or the meat or the seasoning being your aspects and additional or even soul imprints. And that's a whole nother topic. So it's additional information, and it's not who you are necessarily on a soul level. It can feel like it, especially if that's a primary energy you're connecting or embodying. So it could feel like you are Mary Magdalene, or it could feel like you're Kuan Yin, or, whoever, right? You could feel like it because that's the energy you're working with. And they maybe gave you a gift of some of their codes or energy. Codes are information. And so they give you this gift of their codes in various amounts. So it might be a few drops, it might be a whole cup of their information to augment your soul on your life. And again, it's all oriented to your purpose and your mission. So, for me, my mission is healing, Christ consciousness, divine feminine healing and work. And I've got a divine feminine group. I've got a lot of different purposes right now. A lot of it's planetary too. So I've got gifts or aspects from many all around the board. And each one is like a different purpose. It's like my Magdalene aspect's like, okay, I'm going to help you with Christ consciousness and your work with Yeshua. And you're also going to be, working with the divine feminine and anchoring that Christ light and the feminine light and healing the divine feminine. So that's just one example, right? It's all little gifts. So that's what an aspect is. So we have our soul, and then aspect is like, soul is like the core of a flower, and aspect would be like all the petals of a flower. And imagine the plant, being like our vessel in a sense, kind of thing, right? Like our physical self would be like the stem of a flower. So that's aspects. Now, we have the crown chakra here. So I'm going to start showing my diagram. So, all right. So our soul, I'm backwards here. So our soul is the yellow, and it sits behind the heart. Okay. So it's right there. And then all this yellow that I kind of speckled in, that's just sort of how I drew, the energy of the soul, throughout the body. And on this side where we are, so here's the earth. Oh gosh, I'm so backwards. I'm sorry, guys. I'm so backwards. So this is us on the earth, right? This is us on the earth. And we are, as you know, we are behind the veil. So our planet is a planet of kind of lockdown-ish in a sense. We are here, it's a free will planet, but it's also a planet where we're kind of locked in with amnesia. And not all planets are like this. Earth is very unique. Earth is very beautiful and sacred, and incredible. It's also very, challenging, but we come here because it's a great school. It's where master souls come. It's very difficult place. It's very challenging. We learn a lot, but how do you, on a soul level, just think, how do you learn and challenge yourself the best? This is like Navy SEAL work for a soul coming to earth, okay? It's really that hard. It's not an easy place to be. It's very dense, especially if you're starseed or angelic or, higher level up soul. You're not used to these frequencies, so it's difficult. And that's, why we have these groups, and there's so many beautiful groups on Facebook and other resources for light workers, because it's hard, right? So back to my diagram. So our soul sits behind the heart, and we're on earth, okay? Now, we have the crown. Oh my God. Okay, I just got to do this. The crown chakra is like right at the top of the head, right? It's right there. We got the third eye, crown chakra. Okay? So I don't know if you guys can even see this. Oh my gosh. It's backwards, right? So I'm like, how do I do this? Okay, so there's the crown. And then you've got the stellar gateway, which some call it a chakra, but it's not. It's more like a doorway or an entrance up to the higher self. And the higher self sits at your soul's star chakra, okay? It's the 8th chakra known as the seat of the soul. All right. Now the stellar gateway right here is, and I've never actually, even though I'm an energy healer, I've never really truly felt into the details of, because it's never been that well explained when I've done it. But what is the stellar gateway? So it's not actually a chakra. It's literally like a gateway, just what it sounds like. And it's almost like this entry, not even a doorway, but it's kind of, and they're not even letting me say the word portal. It's not a portal. It's not a doorway. It's a gateway. So it's a gate. So if you imagine a gate is just like something you just kind of go through. And the gate is like, oh, the path starts right there. So it's like the path starts here and goes up. And that's the path, the gateway, the veil, and the gateway is basically going beyond the gateway is going beyond the veil. So this says veil. Sorry, it looks like a W, but it says the veil. So the veil is not a physical place. The veil is just this sheath above us, literally right above us. Okay. So crown chakra is where we get the downloads. That's where we get information from divine, from source, from your guides, your angels, your higher self. Albion, thank you for spreading the message and being yourself. A lot of energy around you. It's lovely to see. You're welcome. Come back and watch the replay. I know if you're in Europe, it's probably late at night. So have a good rest, and come back and watch the replay. Thank you for being here. Okay, so the veil is literally, I was thinking, oh, it's something like way the heck up where beyond the airplanes, beyond our atmosphere, right? No, it's literally just this sheath above us in a sense. And all it is this sheath that's like dropped on us to block everything in it. Not block everything, but to keep us in that state of forgetfulness until we start our awakening, right? And so the stellar gateway is like the doorway through the veil up into the higher self. The higher self sits at the SoulStar chakra, which is your 8th chakra, okay? The seat of the soul. And your higher self is the same as your soul. So it's the energy of your soul, or the identity, okay, of your soul, the energy and the codes of your soul, along with your aspects. So if you've got 3 aspects, your higher self consists of your integrated human, no, sorry, not that. It consists of your soul, it consists of your integrated human self. So for me, it's integrated with my Natalie self, my aspects, which I have, many of, but whatever your aspects are. So, and then your soul. So it's a blend, and your higher self can be split into, 5, 10 different selves. So it might seem that, like, I have a higher self painting sitting around here, and one is Mary Magdalene, one is Lakshmi, one is Lady Nada. And in a sense, it's like, it feels like a breakdown, or almost like a schizophrenia in a way, of all these multiple personalities. But at the same time, they can also blend and integrate into a single one. And the whole concept of our awakening is that awakening to your true self on a divine level. First and foremost, awakening is remembering that you're divine, remembering that you're not your vessel, that you are not the flesh and bones, that you are so much more than that, that you're the spark of source, of God, of essence, right? That's what you are, is your source, right? That's who we are. And that's what awakening is just that simplicity of awakening to the divine truth that, oh my God, I am a part of you. I am a part of you. And I feel Archangel Michael right now coming through. Oh my gosh, I want to cry. I feel Michael coming through really strong. Like, we are a part of you. He's telling me we are a part of you. You are, a part of source. Don't forget that you are a part of source. Don't forget where you come from. Do not forget the power that your whole body contains, and the wisdom contained within each of your cells, within your chakras, within your DNA. When we touch the light of God, of source, we remember for a moment who we are. We remember in that essence. The soul body creates the essence of memory, of your truth and integrity. It's coming in, it's coming in, it's coming in. But it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Like, he's just really reminding me of like who we are. Sorry, I'm trying to tune in back again. He's just telling me, like, just speak your truth, speak your truth. But yeah, so this is me connecting beyond that veil, right? This is me going beyond. And that's what awakening is. Awakening is remembering, knowing that you're God, your source consciousness, your source experiencing itself in essence of a human form. And you are the human form, and you are divine, and you are holy, and you are many things, right? You are a mysterious being, right? And that's who we all are. And we come to earth to forget to wake up to remember. And so the first level of awakening is like, oh my God, there's more to life. God is real. I don't know if it's what they teach us in church. I don't know if it's what this guru taught us. I don't know if it's this philosophy. I don't know. I don't know if it's what the stars tell me. Maybe it's a bit of everything, right? The truth is different for everybody. But that's the beauty of it, right? Everybody has a different pathway of ascension and awakening. And, as long as you get there, it doesn't matter the path. Okay, back to what I came on here for. So a really cool vision that came to me when I was thinking of the veil and the stellar gateway, I had this cool vision. Imagine you're underwater and you're snorkeling, okay? And imagine you're underwater and imagine the water, I'm going to go back. Imagine the top of the water is like right here, okay? Imagine that's where the water is. And you're underwater and you're looking up and you're like, wow. And if you've ever been swimming and looked up, you can see sort of, or even in pictures, you see sort of just the membrane of the top of the surface of the water, right? Like it looks, almost like there's something on top of it. It's just this invisible membrane, right? Imagine that is like the veil and you're underwater. You can't hear anything. You can't see anything. You're underwater. All you know is this world underwater where you are. So imagine if you were like a mermaid or something and you're only swimming underwater, right? Or a fish. This is the only world you know. You don't know what's above it. You don't know until you break through that surface. So imagine the surface of the water is, whether it's here or way up here for where your SoulStar shot or the veil is for you, or not your veil, but the gateway. So if your gateway is right here and your SoulStar is here, right? So that's where that membrane, so to speak, is. And so the gateway chakra is that opening, and then you go up through it. So imagine like this could be like the veil, and you want to take like a snorkel and poke through it, right? So you go up through like a snorkel and you go up, and then you go up into the higher self and you access the higher self. And often when I do channeling or do my own light code activations, I do a lot of activation work. I just automatically, like my higher self just guides me. My hands just go up because I'm connecting to my higher self, and actually they're saying that she's a little bit lower, but I'm just connecting to God, to source, like when I put my hands up like this. And in a way I kind of understand, back in the day of going to church, of when people would always put their hands up, because in essence, you're just connecting to source energy, to God, and that's really what that is when you put your hands like this, you're connecting to source or to God energy, to divine. You're connecting to divine, whatever level you're connecting. So the stellar gateway, again, is this sort of again, they're telling me not to use any of the word, but a gate to the entryway of the higher realms of divine, to soul, to spirit, to the higher self, to get to the SoulStar chakra. Now, what is the SoulStar chakra and the higher self all about? Well, the SoulStar chakra is really who you are. It is who you are on a soul level. It is when you activate. Now, the SoulStar chakra is not the higher self. It is where the higher self is situated in a location. And I'm not the greatest visual of persons, but I've worked with other healers who are very good seers, and I've been talking to them, and they're like, oh yeah, I see Mary Magdalene sitting right there above your head. She's like right there, and they literally see this face like right now. She's telling me, she's like, where are you? She's like, oh, I'm right here. She's right here. Apparently that's where she is on me. That's where they're telling me. Okay, cool. So that's kind of where they are on me for my higher self, but that's where the SoulStar is. And the location of it could be anywhere from 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 inches to 2, 2, 3, a couple of feet, more or less about 12 inches above your head. So the SoulStar chakra for most people is blocked, disconnected, not activated. When I learned integrative energy therapy a couple years ago, I don't do this technique anymore, and that's a different story. But when I learned the technique, when I learned the advanced level, after we cleared all the meridians and chakras of the whole body, and that would take about they taught us, it generally took 4, 5, 6 sessions, depending on how blocked somebody is. But it would take 4, 5, 6 sessions to clear everything out, unblock the body. And then once everything is cleared in all the energy system of your body and the your energy body of all the layers of your auric field, because it's both chakras, meridians, and the physical body, the mental body, the emotional body, and the spiritual body. So those are all the different bodies of our auric layer. Going up to the SoulStar chakra, we then connect to the higher self. And again, it's usually kind of blocked off. Once we clear everything, then we activate it and clear it for people, and then we bring it down as if you're reaching up to an apple tree, grabbing an apple, and then you're bringing it down, and you bring it down and you make that connection. But you have to clear this channel. So you've got your channel, literally, it's like my hands, I swear, it's like this, right? You've got your channel of light sitting right above your head, and that channel goes to all of your other chakras, which, I think right now they know as much as 22 chakras, depending on how many you have. Love that we're friends and that we're here and that you're awake. Thanks, Rob. Me too. It is good. I know. It's a magical experience, isn't it? Being here, it's magical, and learning these things is magical, or maybe it's not learning, but remembering. I like to use the word remembering too. Okay, so the higher self, or the SoulStar chakra and the higher self, the SoulStar chakra, when you activate it, it's really about what your divine purpose is, your ability to connect to your divine self, your ability to connect to your higher self. And once you do that and your body is becoming clearer and clearer and clearer, I explain to my clients, it's kind of like cleaning up the closet. You can't bring in your aspects or embodiments or new light codes or new advanced energies of higher, higher forms until you've kind of cleaned up the closet of your old self. So we have to sweep and clean and sweep and clean and sweep and clean, right? Whether it's programming, beliefs, fear, wounds, trauma. I mean, I probably will do another video on that. But once we kind of clean stuff out, then it's like, okay, now there's room to bring in a new wardrobe, a new self, your true self, your divine self. And you clear that out, you activate, clear, bring down, connect, and then you start to connect to your higher self, and if appropriate for you, to any aspects. Now, I have also learned that some people are meant to know who they are on a soul level because it's relevant to their purpose. For some people, it's irrelevant, and all they need to know is, yep, okay, you're connected to your higher self. You've got a goddess, or priestess aspect, or you've got an angelic aspect, or an angelic soul, or a galactic or an Arcturian. And when you're ready, or if you're ready, more information comes through, or more identities, sometimes names, sometimes not. That's different topic. But again, that comes down, the important thing is to connect to that higher self, because that is your true essence of self, and ultimately that higher self comes in and embodies you. Now, embodiment happens at multiple levels. And at first it's like this energy that comes into the crown and comes in, and it kind of makes me feel like I just kind of grew and got bigger and stronger. It literally feels like, I know, because I have one of my masculine aspects is Archangel Michael, and when he's present and fully in me, I literally physically feel stronger. Like I can go mow the yard with my lawnmower that weighs a ton. I can do things. I'm like, oh, I got all this energy. And when I'm like fighting with myself or resistance, and I'm just like, oh, get out of here, I just want to be human, and I get all messy with myself, and I kind of push that divine part of me out because I'm in ego, or I'm in fear, or my inner child is having a temper tantrum or something like that, and I push that divine self out, I suddenly feel weak. I feel like, as if there is a dimmer switch for your light, it just went, and I physically didn't have the energy either. So once I have an embodiment, and the more I embody, it's like, whoa, I have all this energy. So it's amazing, but it's not just that. It's the wisdom, the information, the connection. And they're coming in beyond the veil. So now you've got this conduit. It's like we're snorkeling. Once you embody that higher self, you're snorkeling, baby. You're snorkeling. You're just imagine like this is that veil. And when you truly embody and truly release and let go and let go and let go and let go of the crap, the beliefs, the blocks, the fears, your ego, when you just go, get rid of it, and you got this clear connection, as long as you're doing your work, and this takes work, guys. This is taking me years to get here. It takes a hard work. It takes a lot of honesty, a lot of inner work, and a lot of BS that you have to work through and that I've had to work through. And we all have it, and we all have to be honest that we all have it. It's like, okay, what's your BS? Oh, my BS is this, and what's your BS? We all have it, and we all get in our own way, and we just have to recognize that's the human experience, because it is what it is, right? This world is what it is. We come in forgetful. We grow up in society, school or religion or culture or TV or media, government, etc., 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 with all these beliefs. And as you guys know, awakening is like erase, erase, erase. Oh, that's not true. Get rid of it. Oh, that's not really aligned to source. Get rid of it. And I'm not saying you throw everything out. It's you kind of go through. It's like going through your bookshelf or going through a closet. Yep, that's a classic. I'm keeping that clothing even though it's 10 years old. I really like it. It's a classic piece of clothing or sweater. I'm never going to throw it out. Versus, yeah, that's so dated. I don't know what I was thinking when I bought that sweater, It's kind of like that. So it's not that you throw it all out. You just selectively start going, that is in my way. It creates a block. It creates an obstacle. It is holding me back from my truest self. And awakening is gradual, as we gradually go a step and a step and a step, as if every step it's let go. If you're ready. Not everybody is. Some people keep carrying their stuff, their story, their fear, their past, their trauma, their beliefs, their comfort zone, whatever. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. We get there when we get there, and that's just how it is. And I work with people in that way to just help you feel safe, that it's okay to let go of this, a little bit forward, let go a little bit, let a little more in, let go a little bit, let a little more in. It takes a lot of honesty with yourself and a lot of responsibility with your light and with divine. And it takes a lot of integrity with how you work. And it does. It's hard work. So, sorry, I'm all over the place. SoulStar chakra, just to make sure I am covering everything. And again, this is not a formal anything, but the SoulStar chakra, again, it is your divine self. It's your reminder of who you are. So imagine you've got these two selves, right? You've got your forgetful self right here, your soul that you're born with. This is the you that you're born with, right? On the earth, okay? Behind the veil, right? Underneath the veil, you're under the water and you're on the earth, and it's like, ooh, what's this all about, right? And then you go through awakening, you start realizing that you're divine, you start accessing and opening that crown, and you start accessing the stellar gateway, and you start looking up. Imagine like you're swimming through the ocean and you're just this fish, and you've never looked up, and suddenly awakening is you look up, where you look out and you come out from that box and you go, whoa, there's something out there. Imagine if you lived in a cave all your life and you suddenly went out and saw sunlight and green, grass and trees, right? Imagine that. So, and that's what it's like. And it's like, oh, you look out, you look up, what's out there, world? And you come up and you start opening. And every time you release something, every time you connect to your heart or your soul, and you ask a question, or you tune into that intuition, or you feel the divine self coming through, or anything coming through, you go, you're pushing through every little thing you do. Every time you let go of a belief, every time you add a belief and you hold it, and you're in resistance and control, you're cementing that in and you're creating a cloud. So you're not going to see this. When you hold on to a belief, an insecurity, okay, or you're resistant, you're creating a block. You're not going to see. It's going to be like cloudy, murky water. When you sit in stillness, imagine water, right? You know this. When you sit in stillness and you untangle yourself and you slow down and you let the music play, is what they're saying. You let the music play. And the water settles, the energy settles, and you start to see, oh, all the crap that just settled down there. And you look up, and then the clarity starts to come in, and then you listen. And you're quiet, and you take a moment to yourself, and you just listen. You put a hand on your heart and a hand on your belly, and you just listen, right? And you feel, and you get out of the head. Heart and belly, your soul, heart and soul. What do you have to say? And you can tune in right here, like I'm feeling my third eye, like tune in. This is seeing beyond seeing, right? Your third eye, it's seeing beyond seeing. And just tune into the third eye. Tune into your soul, tune into your heart. That's just within you. And then just ask your soul, your higher self, please connect me, right? Just please connect. And then you can start, this gateway can start opening and opening. And then you can start, it's like, oh, I can go up there. I'm going to, connect to that. And you can start going up and meditate and work on connecting to that soul star in your higher self. Some people are able to do this on their own. Other people, need a little, I need a sip of water, need a little help because they have so many blocks or beliefs or, energetic things that are kind of in the way that need a little help. Sorry for my voice. Everybody's a little bit different on what they need. Hey, Francis. Hello, sister. Literally, love you. I'm so glad you're here. So that's what, like, you go up and up and up, right? And then you get to that, oh my God, that's me. That's another form of me. That's a real version of me, right? Now, they're reminding me a mistake that a lot of us make when we've been on this awakening journey a little while. And we're like learning all these magical gifts. Oh, by the way, your spiritual gifts, they're up there. So you want the spiritual gifts to channel, to do intuitive readings, to do, whatever your spirit, light language, all that, it's all there. That is your little box of gold. Connection to the Akashic records, it's up there. Ability to read them, it's all there. That is your gift box. That is your gift box. It's sitting there. Veil, okay, crown chakra, veil. Stellar gateway, opening, pop your straw through, higher self, and there is your treasure trove. That is your box of gold, okay? That is your pot of gold. The end of the rainbow. Pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, guys. Hello. Rainbow, all the colors of the chakras, right? So that's where everything is. It's magical. And so you got to get up there to access that stuff. And then that takes a lot of work to learn what they are and then get the activations, because then it's a matter of, well, are you ready? Can you hold that frequency? Can your angels activate your DNA for that gift that's in that box? Everybody's box is different. Of A, who their higher self is and the aspects, and B, what your gifts are. Now, your aspects are often, they're there because they're carrying information, wisdom, information from past lives. They're carrying information of what you're here to do. They're here, I have a lot of different missions, a lot of secret missions I'm not allowed to talk about, but there's a lot of missions that I do that are with different various sacred feminine aspects, like Kuan Yin or Mother Mary or, Mary Magdalene. And so we have soul contracts together and we work, they're like co-workers in a sense. So we work together, but I also get gifts from them of, oh, here's my gift of this for you. So then you have to kind of earn it. and be there with integrity and heart-centered and pure heart and all that. Once you're there, then you can start to activate, and they'll activate those gifts in your DNA. So it now comes from this beautiful golden box down into your body, into your essence, into your DNA. And now it's like you now have that ability that they had, right? Or that memory or that information, or just the understanding of something. It comes into you. And that's what awakening is about. It's this gradual process of another, it's like opening a new book every day and another little bit of information and another bit and another bit. And it's like, ooh, now what I was starting to say before, where we tend to get carried away with, is we go up and we tend to hang out here, or even, sorry, I keep going backwards, or even higher. We hang out in the upper realms, we hang out in the higher frequencies, we hang out at the higher self, and it's magical. We learn all these things about ourselves, but sometimes we cannot be very grounded. So we want to make sure, in my process, I've gone up and I've gone up to higher realms, and I've gone up and learned all these aspects, and I've got all this soul art around my office, and learning I'm this person, I'm that person, and or they're part of me, yada yada yada. And it's been magical and beautiful, but at the same time, it's been almost too much of a breakdown, because I began to feel like I went from being this whole car to being somebody just took the engine out and everything out of me, and now it's all scattered. And then I had to put it back together and bring myself whole and say, okay, I am Natalie. I'm human. I'm Natalie. I'm divine. I'm holy. I have a soul. Sophia Grace and all my beautiful aspects, they're all there. All my sisters and a couple, male aspects. We all have both sexes. They're all there. They're all part of me, right? We're all one. And we have our inner child. We have our shadow. We have our subconscious. We have a teen self. We have so many different moving parts of who we are, right? And it can kind of make you crazy when you start to look at, almost they're showing me all my colorful Sharpie pens sitting here, all my fun, Sharpie pens sitting here, right? And it can almost drive you kind of crazy. But at the end of the day, you're all of it, right? You're this whole thing. And you're one whole being, head to toe, human and divine. Mary Magdalene said in the Magdalene, not manuscript, the Magdalene, the Gospel of Mary, that we are anthropos, which means we're fully human and we're fully divine. So guys, don't forget to live a human life, okay? Don't forget to put on the glasses and look around. Don't forget to pay attention to your physical world, your neighbors, your family, okay? Don't forget about the life that you're living in human. Don't forget about your soul self, your higher self. You got to blend it together. And the awakening is about going up to that surface and researching, wow, what's all up there? And you get that beautiful energy of heaven, and you spend time up there, and then you pull it down, you learn it and understand it, and you're like, wow, this is the energy of heaven. This is the energy of God. And there's days where I'm vibrating at, and working in the seventh. I work anywhere between the seventh and ninth dimension. So Earth right now is at a fourth dimension. We've already shifted out of third. So we're well on our way to fifth, but we're in the fourth dimension. Most ascended masters, the company of heaven, archangels, heaven starts at the seventh dimension. So right now I'm sitting between seventh and ninth dimension. Right now I think I'm around seventh dimension right now. So that's the frequency I'm channeling right now to you guys, is seventh dimensional frequency, which is the entryway to literally the same frequency of heaven, okay, or the archangelic realm. So yeah, when you go up, it's like you kind of look around and you explore, but then the whole point, we got to remember, why are we here? Why did our soul come here? We didn't come here to pay, look up there. It's kind of like you've gone on a trip, like say I live in Canada and I go on a trip to Greece. I don't go to Greece. I go to Greece to explore Greece, right? I don't go to Greece, okay, wait, let me change that. I live in Canada. So say Canada would be my heaven. And maybe my incarnation is a trip to Greece. But when you're in Greece, you don't spend your entire time, talking about, Canada, or looking back and, being homesick, or I mean, we do, but or looking back at where you came from, you might want to go back and, oh yeah, remember those pictures, or, talk about this or that. But what's the point of being in Greece if all you're going to do is be focused on Canada? Same thing. So we're here to experience the human life. We awaken to go up and remember, oh yeah, that's who I am. I'm divine. Oh yeah, I know you, Archangel Metatron, or I know you, Mary Magdalene. I know you, Gabriel. I know you guys. They're all coming in right now. I know you, Metatron. I know you guys. I know you, and you're my old friends. That's right. We've known each other for, thousands, millions of years kind of thing, right? Yeah. Awesome. Remember why you're there? Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay. Remember this energy of pure love? Yeah. Remember source? Yeah. Okay. Now take this feeling and remind the rest of the world about it. Okay. Awesome. Thank you. And then you come down and like, oh, yeah, here I am in my physical self. I'm Natalie right now in this lifetime with all my normal human stuff like everybody else. But I'm also all this beautiful beauty that is an extension of up there, right? And so then we go up to catch everything and learn. And then when we do that, we bring it down and we fill our body with that wisdom and energy and the codes and the light codes and the light and the frequency. And then we do what we're here to do. And that's to do what I'm doing with you guys on video, is educate, share, show up just with your heart, show up with love, show up with integrity, with compassion, forgiveness, unconditional love, right? That's what Ascension's about. It's about awakening to the fact that you're divine, to who your true essence, okay? To the beautiful light that you are, to the powerful being that you are, to the fact that you are God embodied, God experiencing, or God is experiencing themselves in human form. You're a little, as if it's a big ball of glass and it got shattered and you're like one little shard of glass. That's what we are. We're a little shard of heaven, of God. And that's who we are, and that's why we're here. So we go up, we connect, we learn, and then we activate, and we still do. Like once we go up there, then it's this doorway of back and forth of, and for me right now it's this. It's a constant one hand here and one hand here. I'm always snorkeling. I'm always looking around and working in my physical world. And then I'm multidimensional to where another part of me is always up here. And in fact, a little while ago before I got on, I was talking to my guides and they're like, oh yeah, I had to go eat a sandwich, a big sandwich, and then raisin toast with like peanut butter and a big glass of milk because I was starving. And I'm like, why am I so hungry? They're like, God, we're so sorry, Nat. We've been like doing light codes and light language with you and all this, source work in the background. And it was crazy. But so my human self was like here. And then I was working with my higher self. My Magdalene self was like doing another thing at this level. And then beyond that, I had a source level self working at yet another level. So it's kind of cool, but that's just like where it's at, and it made me really hungry. But it just made me realize how magical we are and how this process is like, yeah, we're connected. So here I am, but then I'm there. It's everything, right? Or it's just I'm connected to that sister, it's like a sister self, it's like not that I am her, but it is and it isn't, it's my sister self, it's like, well, I am her in this moment. They're saying, yes, you are her in this moment. You are embodying and channeling up Magdalene self, yes. Okay. Thank you. They're allowing me to say that. So anyway, so that's what this all is. That's the point of this, is just, again, the physical self down here. I've got written, higher self is the same as your soul. Your divine self includes the aspects that you brought here for this life, but it's also the reminder of who you are, what your purpose is, and what your gifts are. So yeah, so that's just everything in a nutshell, guys. So the higher, this is the earth, this is our physical self, the soul behind the heart, and all the yellow here is just all the embodied energy of our soul. Crown chakra, that's where the downloads and information comes in, or through the third eye. They can come anywhere, but most often it comes in, for me, it comes in both of these parts. And then as you awaken and you start to open, and it's like looking up through the surface of the water, and you look up and you look up and you look up, and you start punching through that veil and connecting to the higher parts of you, to the divine self. So beyond the physical self, right? Because we've got obviously the 7 chakras in the physical, but this is all about the higher and how to connect. I think that's all it is. And we're right at an hour on the nose. Does anybody have questions? Thank you, Natalie. Patty, hey, Patty. Welcome. Anybody have any comments or questions? Oh, I'm so thirsty. Again, this was sort of impromptu. If nobody has any comments or questions, I guess I'll just hop off. Trying to think if there's anything else. I don't think so. SoulStar chakra. So the veil moves as we move that? No, not, I don't think, no, they're saying it doesn't move, Jody. It's just, the veil is, it's like, and I'm, forgive me, I'm still tuning into the message and remembering. They're not even saying learning, you're remembering, and the understanding, you're learning it, remembering it. It just feels like as if it's a sheath, literally like a veil that's just above us, blocking that all of the essence of who we are and the divine, and connecting to source, connecting to the heaven, the upper realms. It doesn't mean we can't get there. It just means we're required to experience the forgetfulness, because it's the only way for us to experience the depth of difficulty and challenges that it is to live in human form. And that's how our soul grows, right? We incarnate because we need to learn. We incarnate because our soul has to go through lessons. Our soul wants to expand. Our soul wants to experience things. And how does the soul get stronger and grow and literally expand in energy? Through challenging experiences. And Earth is a challenging place, right? And the more challenging your life is, the more you took on as a soul. So hoorah to those with a tough life, because hey, you're growing and learning. It's like going to the gym and doing heavy weightlifting. Not so fun, but hoorah for you, right? Give yourself a pat on the back if you've been through a lot of crap in your life, because it's hard, right? It's hard, and you're doing the work. Just being here, you guys, just being here. So, but that veil is just, it's just the sheath of wherever it is on you. I don't know, right? Because it's in between you and that soul star. That's what it feels like. I mean, if I get different information, I'll share it, but that's just, if anybody has different information, that's what it feels like. And that's what, when I was channeling, that's what it feels like. The book, it's called Journey of Souls by Dr. Michael Newton. It's one of the most profound books I've ever read, Francis. It's all about life after life. It's a cool as F book. Honestly, it's a really cool book. And then there's the sequel to that is Destiny of Souls, which I've also read. And then the third one, which I have not read, is Life Between Lives. But I don't know. I guess I had enough information from the first two and from Dolores Cannon books, but it's a really, really amazing book and fun book. And everybody I talk to that's read, I know a lot of light workers that have read that book, and they're like, oh my gosh, one of the most life-changing books that you could read. If there's any one book that I would recommend, that would probably be, that's on my top 3 books, literally. Because it just changes the concept of everything. You're welcome. All right. Well, I think that answers the questions. I don't think there's anything else. So, I'm going to upload this on my YouTube. So if you're watching this on YouTube, please like and subscribe. My YouTube channel is Magdalene's Wish. For those that are on Facebook, it's called Magdalene's Wish. On YouTube, yeah, it's Magdalene's Wish on YouTube. And for those that are in my Facebook group, Awaken Your Body and Soul, if you're watching on Facebook, go check out my YouTube channel. If you're watching on YouTube, check out my Facebook group, Awaken Your Body and Soul. I also have a Divine Feminine group, Empowered Sacred Feminine, which I'm going to get back to work on. I've been sick and not keeping up with it too well over the winter. So there's Awaken Your Body and Soul, Empowered Sacred Feminine, and then I also have a wisdom teachings of wisdom teachings of Yeshua and Mary Magdalene. I was hearing Archangel Metatron of Yeshua, and who is part of Archangel Metatron, because Yeshua becomes Sananda. Sananda and Metatron are part of the same essence of Source. And Yeshua carried an aspect, is also part of Michael. Like they all become like, it's really confusing because they all become the same being as you go up. It's confusing. Anyway, so I've got a wisdom, it's called Wisdom Teachings of Mary Magdalene and Yeshua. And right now I haven't been doing a whole lot, but I try when I can to do teaching, share snippets from the Gospel of Thomas or other Gnostic books or scripture, stuff that's relevant that is applicable in our awakening, because I feel there's a lot of beautiful wisdom that is in there that is still very relevant, not in a religious way per se, but just in a very spiritual essence. And so that's a whole nother ballgame and story. My website is Empowered Sacred Feminine. I'm in the middle of updating it. So I'm about halfway through updating it right now. So, I gotta be patient. I have to finish updating that and I'll share it when it's updated. So anyway, I think that's it. If there's no other questions, I am gonna get off. Nice to see you, Jody. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Francis. Good to see you, sister. And I guess I'll get off then. If you guys have any questions, just send me a message or email me. Email me on magdalenswish3311 at gmail.com is my email. So, all right, guys. Thank you. I love you. Mother Mary says she's welcomed to be here. She's been here with me apparently too. Okay. That's her picture. That's her picture right there. Right there. Mother Mary. That is Kuan Yin. That is Metatron. So anyway. All right, guys. Thank you. I love you. I love you so much. And are you wanting to send some energy? Are you guys wanting to do some energy stuff? No. No. Okay. I guess they just have energy coming in for me, but okay. That's it. Okay. I love you. I love you. I love you. And God bless you all. Thank you for being here. Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.